Hey, you are muted.
How are you?
Oh my God, it's been a while. So good to see you.
You too. It has been a while. Um, I just want to let you know that my internet is not fantastic at the minute. So if I drop out, it will come back. So is that going to work for you?
Yeah, we'll just edit it as best as as
Yeah.
best as I can. Yeah, that's
And
fine.
if it freezes, I'll
But
turn off
yeah,
my
thank you.
hey.
Thank you for being my first guest. Yeah, I just had to like, okay, come on, let's do it. Otherwise, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got about 20 up my sleeve. That's why when we do ours, I'll wait till next year because I've got a lot already pre-recorded.
And that's perfect because
Yeah.
um I told you I do numerology and I've been doing intuitive psychic development since the beginning of the year. And so by the
Fantastic.
time you
We'll have
interview me, we can do business readings, you know, and I mean, if you want me to do on your podcast, we can,
yeah,
you know.
whatever. It'd be fun. Yeah, let's do it.
It'll
So
be
perhaps in
it'll be so fun. So it is really woo. If you want to talk woo and witchy and stuff, well, I don't know that it's witchy, but you know what I mean. It's out of this
well,
world.
it is kind of
Um,
witchy. It's divination. We all use those tools. It's fantastic. You can call it whatever you
yeah,
want. Yeah.
yeah. So exactly. So yeah.
Cool.
Well, do you have questions? I just want to know basic questions. How was your business before? What were your challenges during the pandemic? And then how did you turn it around? Basically that, and
Yeah,
and
just
why are you
ask
so
me
passionate
and
in your business?
yeah,
Yeah,
just ask me what you
yeah,
feel to and I'll just answer. It's easy. Easy
yeah,
peasy.
yeah. So I'll do a little blurb in the beginning to just say welcome, what have you, and
Yeah,
hopefully it makes sense to me. My goodness.
go
And
for it.
okay, well let's get the recording so I can capture whatever. Um oh, we are recording. Huh. Okay.
We are recording. Maybe stop and then start so you don't have to cut all of this out. Yeah.
All right. Oh my goodness. Season 3. Hello, everyone. Hello, soul powered leaders. Welcome to season 3 of Soul Power to the People. My name is Tess Vergara, and today we are going to explore, or for this season anyway, I am inviting business owners who have pivoted their well, whether or not they pivoted, but they're still here, they're still standing, and their business still going strong in the face of tyranny, adversity, and so much upheaval. I believe there's one thing that remains constant, and that's our soul power. That's our fighting spirit. And it's not about fighting anymore. I think we're being called to really step into our divinity. And in that space, there really is no fighting. And the fighting comes when we resist our soul power, our divinity. So that's what this podcast is all about, returning the soul power to the people. And I'm inviting guests to talk about their journey, their stories, their insights, um what is it that has them harness and really connect with their soul power to overcome challenges, create success, and really not just see themselves but really embody and truly express the creator that they are meant to be. So that is Soul Power to the People season 3, and I am so honored to have with me today Julie Nelson, all the way from Australia. Hi, Julie. And
Hello,
Julie is
hello. It's so good
returning.
to be back.
Yeah, and Julie's returning. I think you were in season two, and we talked about Witch podcast. And so, Julie, please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Tess. It's good to be back here. So I am Julie Richwich, Julie Nelson Richwich, artisan botanical perfumer, artist, clinical aromatherapist, astrologer, and the creator of the Fragrant Oracle. So I've got a few tools under my belt that I love to bring together, and I work with women, supporting, guiding, mentoring them into stepping in or reclaiming their divine feminine essence, their power to rise unapologetically. That's me.
That's beautiful. Oh, goosebumps, goosebumps, Julie. And so tell us about your business before 2020.
Before 2020, I was actually doing okay. It was a little bit different. I was completely focused on my botanical perfumery and the aromatherapy. And it was an interesting time because I was living in a not a remote area, but I was a bit isolated, and so I did rely on online business, and frankly where I lived, it just wasn't aligned to my business as such. So yeah, that was my focus. I had big plans of what I was going to do. I'd actually planned out my following year until it all happened, and everything had to just change, because I had decided that I was going to, even though I was living up north, I was going to go down to Sydney monthly, run face-to-face workshops, which is what I really love to do. And that was my plan. And of course, I couldn't do it. So I
Right.
had to really, yeah, I'd planned out everything, and I was set to go, had dates, and I was booked in to do 2 overseas retreats, where one was in Morocco with a woman that did tours in Morocco, another one was in India, and we were going to do scented trails. Well, all of that got dropped, basically.
Wow.
So yeah, and
Scented
then
trails. Ooh, I can
yeah.
smell that.
Oh my God, in
Wow,
India
that
and
yeah. So
Morocco.
when you mentioned planner, I'm working on a planner right now, and as you know, and most people know, what we plan for, yeah, kind of like 2020. And I think many of us are still have that PTSD, like do I even dare plan?
Well, let me share with you that I am not a very structured person, and I'm not. Do you know? Every year I buy a planner. This might every year I buy a planner and I use it for about 2 or 3 months, and then that's it. And I think I'm not doing it again this year. It's just not working for me, and I'm not a really structured person. And to be honest, with those 2 big overseas retreats that we had planned, I mean, everything was completely planned out. We had been marketing for some time, and that needed to have a lot of structure and planning, but also because it wasn't something where you had money coming in straight away. I was still trying to juggle everything else in my business to bring in clients and that at that time. But yeah, so I spent the last 3 years just winging a lot of stuff because I was changing through things and stepping into a new way of doing my business.
Yeah, and you're not alone. I mean, the whole world stopped and was brought to their knees. You know, it's tumultuous for, especially for business owners, not knowing if they still have a business in the months to follow. But for you, um, what was the most significant challenge or challenges that got in your way?
Okay, that's a good question. Can I share a little bit before that? So the first year of so I've never really changed my business as such. I just entered into different areas of my business because I
Mm-hmm.
love what I do and I'll never stop doing it. So I really, and what I noticed, so I don't know what it was like over there, but here people were wanting more information on what to do, what was going on, what sort of challenges were facing them. So for the first year, my astrology sessions really took off, and it was fantastic. I did a lot of
Mm.
astrology readings. But the second year is when it really hit us in Australia. And
So this is 2021.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We start because the pandemic actually happened after, like, it might have been several months, I can't remember, 6 months after it hit you, right? We didn't all hit it at the same
Mm.
time. So really for that first year, yeah, it actually was quite good for me. And
Mm.
as far as doing astrology goes, and because that's what people wanted to know. But yeah, when the second year came, everything just dropped off. It just really, people just, it was like everything went radio silent for me. Um, and I found it interesting with my own observations, like how it actually got harder and harder to be seen online, and to get your business out there. And a lot of people dropped out as well. A lot of people were fearful of spending money in that second year. So people, you
Right.
know, there was a lot of fear around how would they survive, how would they get food. So basically people in my realm just stopped spending money. So that
Mm-hmm.
was a big challenge for me. I just kept going. I kept keeping my presence because I've been doing what I've been doing for a long time. It never even occurred to me to just drop off. It wasn't new for me to be in business online. It wasn't, and being quite well known in my realm of work, especially with the aromatherapy, because I lectured for 13 years. So I'm very well known in that field of work. So it didn't even occur to me to just stop and try and survive. I just kept pushing through. But of course, when I look back on my figures that year, and even the first part of 22 was tough. I really didn't have a money-making business, but because I love what I do, I just kept going. Because for me, it was about still being there and being present. And I have to say that even this year has been a tough yeah, the repercussions from what went on in 1920 and 21, 22. This year, it's almost like it's really hit its full force. And over here, I've seen lots of small businesses, women in business online just stopped working. They've just stopped. It's been too hard. So that's been a really
Mm-hmm.
interesting observation. And for me, I've gone, well, I'm sorry that's happened to you, but I'm just keeping on going. And I've been through a lot of shit in the last 2 years personally. And,
Mm-hmm.
being caught in the floods, because after the pandemic, we had the big floods and I had to leave. I had to run. I had to leave everything behind what could.
Right.
Yes, so I was in the middle of those big floods, so I had to get out really early and I had nowhere to go. I had no place to live. I had to leave most of my stuff on the side of the road. I had a ute where I could put in personal belongings. The only furniture I bought was some brand new dining table chairs that I had. The rest was all just personal stuff and my animals. My cats, I'd got the horses out. It was really interesting because I had this gut feeling that I had to get my horses out. Because the thing is, I had been evicted because my landlady wanted to sell the place. All these things just happened, but then the floods hit and there was no choice. It was like I had to go. So I came back down closer to Sydney. It was like a 12-hour drive. Friends helped me.
Wow.
There was a lot of intuition that I really tapped into, because it was like, whoa, what do I do? This is fucking like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? So I had to ring up a sister and say, can I come and live with you until I can find a place? And fortunately, I had other stuff in storage that I could bring up, but it took me 11 months to find a place. So all of 2022 was pretty, if I can say,
What
fucked
did you
up
do with
for
the
me.
horses while you were looking?
I
Sorry
got
to
them out
interrupt.
quickly and I sent them down here. Everything just fell into place. I had somebody that said,
Wow.
I can adjust them. Like, that's what I'm saying. I trusted my intuition and everything just fell into place to help me get out of there so I wasn't stranded or in my car. And it was very interesting. But spending almost a year under the roof of another person, I couldn't actually do my business very well. I was
Mm-hmm.
constantly going to cafes and things like that. And it was really challenging. And so I couldn't put all of me into my business. So I just kept riding the wave. So that was very,
Mm.
very challenging. And then I found this place after 11 months because it's global. I know,
Wow.
like, rents have gone up horrendously. I'm paying exorbitant rent for myself in a tiny little place that's gorgeous, but you can't even swing a cat in it. But I've got
Mm.
great neighbors and I'm in a beautiful spot. And but then I had all these issues like that they didn't know. I can't get internet. So the reason I'm on internet now is my beautiful neighbors let me use their internet. And this is the thing, because I'm in a granny flat that's on a property with a main house and it's not subdivided, our big internet NBN supplier refuses to put a line in for me. It's a fucking joke.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I can't
Wow.
have phone reception without having the internet, because I live in the mountains and there's massive trees and bush and national parks. So they were my big challenges. And honestly, at the beginning of this year, I had a major meltdown, because I'm thinking, for 3 months I'm trying to work out how am I going to work my business? I'm in a 12-month lease, and I've had quite a few, like an arm length of issues in this place, because it's a brand new place and there's structural issues and an owner that just didn't want to fucking do anything. So I have actually been at war, fighting battles. And I say fighting because I've really had to stand in my power and just go,
Yes.
no, these are my rights. That is your responsibility. And even up until
Wow.
right now, 9 months later, there's a water leak. And the things I've had to do and say to get the owner to actually get somebody out here, because environmentally it's wrong. There's a lot of water leaking out because there's a cracked pipe. So all of these things have contributed to challenges for me. So 2 years, coming up to 2 years in February, that's just from leaving with the floods before the pandemic. I'm starting to feel like I'm really coming in. I'm the most powerful I've ever felt within myself. I often say, and
Yes.
I've got to fight for my rights. But when I say the word fight or go to battle, I'm not talking about giving myself away. I'm talking about standing in my power, and
Yes.
I do not back down. And,
Yes.
I've had some incredible opportunities that have come to me to be able to do this too, with female activists, and which I'll be joining, and standing up for women's rights, because in this country at the moment, women my age, 65 and over, are becoming homeless every week. They're unemployable.
Oh,
The rent
wow.
is so high that they can't afford it. So they're choosing to live in their cars or camp or whatever, so that they can feed themselves. So I'm not about to let that happen with me. So I am in a battle, an energetic battle of sorts. It's a real battle. But as I said, it's not where you're giving yourself away. It's like, some people will gently, they'll speak, they energetically do the work. I'm one of those people that stands, and I'm very loud. And
Uh-huh.
and of course, having the self-love and belief in yourself is very important, because it's not all just, I've had this conversation with someone and they said that I was wrong. Well, it doesn't matter. For me, it's not all about love and light. Sometimes we have to embrace the dark so that we can move forward and hold on to the light and bring more light in for everybody else. And that's how I see it.
I love it.
I was on a
Not
rant.
all about love and light. Yeah, right? It's like, oh, namaste,
And
sister.
love and light
Namaste,
is
brother.
beautiful. Love and light is
It
beautiful.
is.
And it's powerful, and love is the most powerful vibration. However, this is what I was trying to explain to a friend. It's not enough, because a lot of people that
It's
go
not
into
gonna
love and
change.
light, a lot of people that go into love and
Mm-hmm.
light don't want to take action. We have
Yep,
to take action. The power is in the people, and the more
correct.
people that wake up to that, the better. So everybody, like here, I'm going on another rant. I'll stop in a minute. But so, for example, we've got real estates. We've got real estates that are dictating the market for rentals, and putting the rent up every year or every 6 months. And business people that are working from home are struggling. They're trying to put the rent up between $50 to $200 a week. It's absurd. And this is why businesses, entrepreneurs, we have a very, very, or did, we had the largest community of female entrepreneurs in the world in Australia at one point, because they want to spend more time with their children. But a lot of them are just shutting down and it's just out of control. But the thing is, if they only could see that, if they, instead of just preaching, that they actually stood in their parents, took action. If everybody said, no, this is not okay, what are they going to do? You know? And it's the same for their
Yep.
business. It's just like, yeah, I think we have to really come into standing in our power and loving ourselves in a way that we know we're worthy. We have that confidence. We become attractive and magnetic so that we can manifest. That's my little formula.
I
Acknowledge,
love
accept,
that.
love, worthiness, confidence, attraction, manifestation, and practicing what we preach, you know. And that's what I'm doing, and I'm
Yeah,
on a
walk
mission
the
to do it.
talk. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And you did bring up a really good point there. That's why I love coaching executives because they're action takers. But a lot of people, especially in the healing arts, they they
mm,
have full trust, in their intuitive abilities and that in their creative arts and stuff. But they get stopped into action. So it becomes like a blind faith almost. But to bring in manifestation in the physical realm, we have to take action, which is the
yeah,
physical. Taking action is the physical. So if you're thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it, it's not going to make manifest. Thoughts becomes things
no,
when you put in the four pillars, like I talk about, right? The physical action, not just physical,
yes,
but it's transformation through the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And I
yeah,
love that you mentioned intuition. A lot of people would have been lost without that.
yeah. Well,
The intuition, when you said you were guided to move out of there, and then your
yeah,
ability to ride the waves, how do you, in that situation that you described, how can you not collapse your energy? So that's so
my
amazing
energy.
that you've got the intuition. Go ahead.
Sorry, we've got a bit of a lag. I did collapse sometimes, Tess. However,
So tell
I'm
me about that.
also,
Tell me about that. How do you recover from that when you collapse your energy?
I know myself very
What do you
well.
have
I'm
to think?
65. Yeah. So let me just talk about one thing first so that I can lead into it. So with my intuition, I've been practicing this for decades. And I have learned through life experiences how important it is. And honestly, it's a very, 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 very rare occasion when I don't listen to my intuition. It's very innate with me. It's how I live now. But I wasn't always like that. So it's practice, 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 living what I preach. And then when I have collapsed, because trust me, I have to surrender to that, because I know, that saying, that which you resist will always persist, and that which you persist will always resist. And so what I do is I come back to self-love and self-nourishing and self-nurturing. And I have support. Like, I have a beautiful shaman healer here that I go to. And I also have a counselor, a psychologist when I need, because I have had a lot of post-trauma triggered over this past 2 years as well. However, Tess, it's never stopped me from doing my business, because I fucking love what I do. And my business is easy for me. I'm so passionate about it, and I live and breathe it. I do it it's my lifestyle. It's not just my business. What I do in business, I practice every day in my life. So I have the tools myself. And sometimes I know when I want to fight, which does disable you. That's a different type of fight. You're kind of trying to push through and break
Yes.
through the barrier and you can't get it. That's a different
Mm-hmm.
kind of fight to what I was talking about before. I have to stop.
Mm-hmm.
In whatever way works for me, I do. It might be going to bed for a couple of days because I find if I can't be with my unicorns because they're a bit of a distance away from me now, so I only get to see them 2, maybe 3 times a week if I'm lucky. They're my greatest healing. They're phenomenal. But I do my ritual. I'll go to sleep for a few hours because it regenerates me. It's understanding your body and what your own needs are. Other people go, you're wasting your time. And I go, no, I'm actually healing because when I get up, I feel revitalized and re-energized. And so, yeah, I've got a lot of tools and I look around me and I live by the bush. So I love to tap into nature. My oils, my perfumes, they're so fucking powerful when working with the psychological and emotional. And I've got that 31 years background of as a clinical aromatherapist and a lecturer. So I have it. I have it all with me so I can tap into it. And this is the thing for people in business.
Yes.
What tools do you have? Like I have a healer. I have somebody. When I say healer, I have to do the healing. And it's like me with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the facilitator. I'm the guide, the mentor. And Charlotte, my shaman, God, she's just amazing. Every year she goes and studies with a Peruvian family that have ancestors of shamans, and her work is phenomenal. And it's like being reborn again every time that I go and see her. So we have to have these tools. Well, you don't have to have anything, but if you've got these tools, like your 4 pillars or whatever you want, and your own tools, and know yourself, know that you can get through it. It's like I have this, you've probably heard me say it, like I am unapologetic. I stand in my truth. If I am passionate about something, nothing can stop me. I only
Mm-hmm.
myself. And I don't
Right.
give a fuck what other people think. I only give a fuck about what is important and what is good for all. And it's such a good place to
Wow.
be.
Wow. Yes. And that's exactly my next question. Like, why do you keep doing your business? Like you said, you're 65, but I really hear the passion that you love it, you live it, it's your lifestyle, it's who you are. So you're not that
Yeah.
separate from your business. You're so aligned. And so
Yeah, absolutely. Go
tell
on.
us why your business, why astrology, why aromatherapy?
Well, I got into aromatherapy. So in 1988, my beautiful daughter was born, and she was born with a life-threatening condition. And it was she was what they consider a miracle baby. Her condition was very rare at that time. It's not so much these days. And because it was rare, it wasn't recognized. So you don't get any fucking help from, you know, like
Mm,
some conditions or illnesses. I don't like calling them diseases. I think it's a horrible word. But then at 6 months, she was diagnosed with a second life-threatening condition, which through her life, actually, there were several times when I was told she was probably going to die. So when she was a little bub, I discovered aromatherapy through a friend. And what I realized just by using it at home in a burner and room sprays, the essential oils, was how powerful it was, and the power of smell, like, oh my God, these beautiful aromas that just smelt divine. And literally within a few weeks of dancing with them, playing with them, like, I just got full on into it. I was totally addicted. I decided, this is my purpose. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I can help my daughter. So I went and got my diploma. I was a single mum, had no idea how it was going to happen. But again, everything fell into place. They let me work for the payment. So I worked as a student helper in the shop, serving people, stacking shelves, all of that kind of thing. And that paid off my fees because I didn't get money. And I had people like sisters and family that helped look after my daughter while I was studying and doing a bit of work. But at the same time, my daughter and I were living in hospital 50% of her life. So I always had to live really close to the hospital in case I had to dash her there. And it just so happened that the college where I was studying and working, because we moved from one hospital to another hospital that was right over the road from the college where I was working. So I could live in the hospital with my daughter, run over to work and study. And yeah, so that she was my driving force into discovering natural therapies. And I've always been a witch. Although when I was a kid, I didn't know it. I didn't think about it. It was just something that was natural for me. And so
How did you find out?
I guess really, oh God, I used to get called one. When I really I really took it on board was when I started studying aromatherapy and all the energetics and the magic of it all and the spiritual aspect. I don't actually use the word spirituality or spiritual anymore because I think it's been bastardized, and the same with witchcraft, but I do love to call myself as a witch. So in astrology, I mean, for as long as I can remember, even as a little girl, I just wanted to gaze at the stars. And so when I was about halfway through my aromatherapy diploma, I started studying astrology. And, you never stop. It's just so big, so huge. And so there was the aromatherapy, and then all the ritual. I even had my own coven back then. And then the astrology, you can do medical astrology. And I studied a little bit of medical astrology. So it all used to be a part of the Hippocratic Oath, looking at astrology, the moon phases for operations. And it fascinated me. And I knew that I could use all of this to support myself and my daughter. And also opening us up to the realm of natural therapies gave me the opportunity to give my daughter true holistic treatment. She needed orthodox medicine. She'd be dead without it. There's no denying, with surgical procedures and, life-threatening moments where she needed intervention. But the natural therapies came in and supported her immune, her nervous system, her lungs, and then when she became independent, my work took on a slightly different lead because I fell apart. I had a breakdown, physically, emotionally, energetically, because for 20 odd years, I'd never slept. I was lucky to survive on 2 hours, 3 hours sleep a night, and living in and out of hospital.
Yeah, that's burnout. Wow.
Yeah, not knowing if your child's going to live or die, and it's only now, she's 35 now, that I can say I know that she's going to have a good life. And she grew up in the natural therapies world. I hardly ever sent her to school. She was only at school about 60% of the time. That's not including holidays. So she was always at the college with me, where she was loved and nurtured. She was like a little fairy when she was little. And so, you know, I just went against all the rules. I fought the systems. I mean, they didn't even want to enroll her into school because she had a nasal gastric tube in her. So I had to fight to get her into school. And then I ended up sending her to an alternative school, which was just so much better for her. But when she became independent around 20-ish, I literally had a breakdown. So, you know, I was diagnosed with all kinds of things, but of course I had the tools to help myself. And I was also in a very toxic relationship that didn't help either. So I left that relationship 12 years ago, and I've just continued to be on a healing journey, going from strength to strength. I'll never stop working with healing myself, because there's a lifetime of trauma, you know, in my cells, that when you know, like the onion skin, when you peel off one layer, another one appears, or you think you've worked through it all because you've done all this healing and all this stuff, and then something happens like the last 2 years and it triggers it, and it's been like a fucking volcano, I can tell you. But even going through all of that, I feel really good. I feel powerful. I'm still passionate, and my work is my sole purpose. And I'm on a mission. Like when I talk about doing stuff, it's not just for me. I'm speaking for women and children, you know, and I won't stop.
That's
Whew.
beautiful. And you're not letting your age stop you. And I can feel that it's like it's even sustaining you, all that, you know, finding that it's not finding, it's embodying your purpose, like
Yep.
fully living it out loud. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you've shared so much, Julie. It's an amazing journey that your own challenges has become your, which was a mess, right? But your mess
Yep.
has become your message. That's amazing. So
Love it.
walk us through. I heard you were saying earlier your formula for manifestation. Can you enumerate them again?
Yep. Yes. So first of all, it's about acknowledging, like acknowledging what's going on instead of burying our head in the sand, accepting that there
Mm,
is challenges, shit, things, demons, whatever it is going on and within us. So acknowledging, accepting, doing the inner healing,
mm,
working with self-love, which is the most powerful. When we reach that point of self-love, and it doesn't mean to say we have to be perfect. I get the poops about myself sometimes with certain things, but I love myself, and it's so good to be able to say it. And that self-love gives us self-worth and self-confidence. And that self-confidence and self-worth and self-love makes us magnetic. People want to go, I want some of you. We become attractive and
yes.
magnetic. And that magnetism equals manifestation. You still have to take the action.
Wow.
Things aren't just going to drop out of
Yes,
the sky for
definitely.
you. It's just believing
It
in
does
yourself.
happen, but
It can happen, but
it does
yeah,
happen, but yeah, but really, as a powerful creator of our reality, we need to be the ones to take action and take responsibility
yes,
for our desired results. So, what's
yeah.
your favorite client testimonial?
Oh my God, Tess, I have got so many. Oh my God, I've got tons that I could rattle off, not word by word. I guess at the core of each testimonial that I get, because there's ones for perfumes, there's ones for astrology, there's ones for the witchcraft and the ritual and the ceremony and the art, is that people feel the magic, and they feel that they feel amazing, and that's beautiful. So whether it be perfume, like I get so many that just say, oh my God, this has made a difference. The thing is that the trick for people is to continue to take the action, to stay in that beautiful, empowered, loving energy of self. So understanding their astrology chart, it's like some people just get so blown away on how that much they've learned about themselves, because our astrology doesn't define us. It's a blueprint. What it does is give us a choice of which path to take. And also, one of my favorite things about astrology is that it takes away judgment and self-judgment, because you can see why we respond and react to what we do. So yeah, honestly, that I've had
I
some
love that,
recently through astrology
Mm-hmm.
that have just been made
I
me
love
cry.
that do you have it in front of you?
I can pull up. Let me just
Yeah,
give
and
me a
while
minute.
you're looking for it, because I love when you say they feel the magic. And it, sometimes part of ourself is so far away, it's like out of reach, that we don't even look at ourselves in that way, because we've been looking at ourselves in a limited way. We
Yeah,
perceive ourselves, and to your point, the self-worth, the self-confidence, when we're missing a huge chunk of ourselves and we don't know about it, it's because we've been, just getting by and living and trying to survive. But when we are read our astrology, our numerology, it's like what I'd like to call your products. It's like a portal to a part of us that had been asleep or remain hidden from
yes,
us. So it's like a
yes,
portal of another dimension of us, through astrology, through your perfume, through your death, right? Um,
yes.
yeah. So anytime you have that testimonial, feel free to read it.
Oh, I've got it. I've got it. Um,
Go
okay,
ahead.
this is, yeah. And I've had a few like this recently from astrology. I recently had the privilege of receiving an astrology reading from the incredibly gifted Rich Witch Julie Nelson during a time of personal crisis. From the moment our session began, it was clear that she was not just an astrologer, but also a compassionate and intuitive guide. What truly sets Julie apart in her deep knowledge of astrology and her ability to translate complex celestial patterns into practical, relatable advice. She didn't just provide a superficial analysis of my birth chart. She delved deep into the nuances, revealing insights about my personality, my life path, and the challenges I was facing. Her interpretations were not only accurate, but also delivered with an unwavering sense of positivity and empowerment. I left our session feeling equipped with a newfound clarity and renewed sense of purpose. If you're seeking profound insights, genuine empathetic support, and a deeply insightful experience, I wholeheartedly recommend Rich Witch Julie Nelson. Her astrology readings are not just readings, they are profound journeys of self-discovery and empowerment. Thank you, Julie.
Wow, that is so powerful. speaks so much of you from who I know you to be, Julie. That's amazing. Okay, so my final question for you, Julie. Well, first of all, thank you so much for your time today and for uh, being the first guest this
Yay.
season. So amazing, yeah. I
I
was like,
love
oh,
talking.
let's get it on. Let's get it on the calendar and get it moving. So talk about action, right? So,
Great.
so final question for you. What is your outlook for the future with your business, with what you're passionate about, with women and children? What do you see is out there for humanity and your business too?
I Yeah, I love that question because a lot of people are saying to me, oh, like things aren't going to change and blah, blah, blah. And I think, oh my God, of course they're going to change, but you have to be one of the change makers to help it change. So for me, I see
Absolutely.
myself continuing to rise unapologetically. I live by that. And I am on a mission. I am an activist, and change is afoot. Astrologically, it's right there, plain in our face, especially next week. Yeah, we're going to see some shifts. So, absolutely, we can change. We don't have to stay stuck. We'll only stay stuck if we choose to stay stuck. So I see a better, brighter world. I believe it. I know it can happen. Some people may just stay and do the thing and give up. That's their journey, Tess. I can only honestly speak for myself, and we live in a beautiful fucking world that we need to take more care of. We are so privileged, like, look at every blade of grass, look at the ants, look at the spiders. I love spiders in my house. I talk to them, I have conversations with them. Look at the beauty that is surrounding us every single day, even if it is a blade of grass, which people might go, what? Yes, a blade of grass. It's living. It has energy. If you listen, you can hear the whispers of grass growing. You can hear the trees moving, the leaves on the trees speaking. There is so much. And so when we tap into that, we can only expand and transform. That is my belief. And that is why nature and looking after this world and all of her creatures is absolutely essential. There is no excuse not to. That's
Wow.
it.
Beautiful said, Julie. Julie, thank you so much for joining the return of Soul Power to the People podcast. Thank you so much. And please do join us each and every week for each new episode. We're diving deep into stories of remarkable business owners like Julie, how to navigate the challenges, emotionally, spiritually, however, whatever it is your story is, there is a way out. And things will get better, things will change if you, soul powered leaders, do something about it. And so thank you so much for
Yep.
joining. Join us again next time. And in a world that is continually changing and triggering us into action, it is going to be so amazing what we as a collective will create in creating a new economy, a new way of doing business, a new way of thinking, a new way of communicating and sharing and really embodying our soul power. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you. And I just want to say one more thing. I felt like breaking out into song then, but I can't sing for shit. But it was like, that song, things can only get better, can only get better. Think of that.
Things can only better. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Julie.
Thank
I'll
you,
see you in the woo-woo
gorgeous.
world and astrological world out there.
You will.
I'll
Bye.
stop. I'll stop the recording.